Thank you very much. I'm pleased and honored to be with you today. Thanks for the organizers and thanks for Paul for inviting me. I'm just going to give a brief introduction to Algeria and what is it Algeria, what is its situation in terms of the international map, and then we zoom in into what's happening right now, who's governing the country, who's behind the power, and then we're going to speak about the current revolution and where we are heading to. So Algeria, as you may notice, it's not much. People don't talk about it much in the UK because it is not a British colony. It used to be a French colony. It's one of the first countries that was captured by the French in 1830 after 3 years of siege, and the French colonized the country for 132 years, and it was the most brutal regime that killed just during the Algerian Revolution, which took place for 7.5 years, 1.5 million people. But the estimation for the 132 years, the French colony have killed around 5 million people. 5 million people, because the reason why, when the French colony came into Algeria, the Algerians, there were 9 million. 9 million, and when the French colony left in 1962, the 5th of July, it was again 9 million. And there is estimations, nobody knows for sure, but estimation. Now, Algeria, as you probably know, it's a North African country. It's near Morocco. Whatever happened in Algeria is definitely has an impact on Palestine. My colleague here was talking about Palestine. Whatever happened in Palestine will also have a direct impact in Algeria. Algeria is about 44 million, depending what you take in your statistics from. According to the World Bank, is 41.5, but the government is saying 44 million. 20 million people took into the streets. So it's real revolution. Who stayed in the houses? Elderly people, sick people, and people can't really walk, disabled possibly, and so on. Half of the Algerian population took to the street. Thank you, Paul. There is no way in the whole world, even the Bolshevik revolution, that half of the population took into this. This is the first time. What really amazing happening right now in Algeria is it is so peaceful. Even the thieves, even the drug addicts, even the people who usually fight, the street fighters and drug and so on, is no more. Finished. So what the police was unsuccessful to achieve for many, many years, this revolution have taken. If you see the solidarity and the atmosphere and the spirit that exists in the streets of Algeria for the last 2 months, it's unbelievable. Women, men, socialists, Islamists, Marxists, all different walks of life, all people walking into the streets. People usually fight, at least from the theology point of view. No, they have all the same agreement of we want to change, we want to do something different and something powerful. We have enough of the current regime, military regime, since 1962. Now, the size of Algeria, for people who don't know, is the 5th largest country in the world. It's a very, very rich country, but the people are so poor. So we have about 2.4 million pounds, so about seven times the size of the UK. The north is very green, as much as UK, and we do have snow, and in the south is desert, very Sahara. Yet, is so rich. In terms of petrol, is the 10th richest country in the whole world, and also in terms of gas, is the 4th producer of gas internationally. We do have a quite large middle class, but the rich are so rich, and we do have the lower class now, which is quite large population, who do live under $1 a day, which is a shame. Such a rich country, but people live in miserably. To understand the politics and what's going on, because I have only 10 minutes to speak, we need to understand the dynamics of what's going on in Algeria. There is, by the way, no a single Friday. All those marches, most of them happen a Friday after the Friday services, the prayers in the afternoon. And in each demonstrations, millions, I'm saying 20 million, you will see the flag of Palestine. What's the link? Why there is a flag of Palestine? Because people don't like injustice. People have suffered. People have seen the brutal French colony, what they did. They don't want the Israeli army to keep killing the people. So it is the same struggle, whether it is Rwanda or Palestine or wherever it is, the people don't like injustice. Therefore, you will always find Palestinian flag in Algeria, in the stadiums, wherever there is a big events, people are shouting, free, free Palestine. So what's going on? What's going on? So we are very much affected by what's going on in Palestine right now. And you probably, Kushner new century deal is trying to achieve in Palestine. They have kind of made sure that countries are aligned behind the Israelis, the American, the Trump governments. So we live in Algeria. Algeria historically wasn't really under French influence for many, many years. But now things, the dynamics are changing, are shifting toward Trump and his allies in the area. So we need to look into the geographical status of the area. Things are changing. Things are changing dramatically. The French colony are at the weakest point during their history. French can no more colonize, well, at least pressure is not as much as it used to be. The old or the ex-French colony are slowly going away. By the way, I don't know how much you know about the Algerian Revolution. It was very successful, very strong. It was one of the best revolutions in the whole world. But the Evian Agreement, some of them are well known and some are secret. They, unfortunately, when Algeria took its independence after 7.5 years of war, 1.5 million dead, martyr, we call them, they had a secret agreement whereby linking directly the Algerian economy, the Algerian politics, the Algerian culture, even the language to France. So even the independent government that, well, in theory at least, elected by the Algerian, impose the French language. They don't like English. And some ministers, education ministers, did try to kind of bring English as the word spoken language worldwide, but they don't like it. The French, we have in Algeria is different kind. We have francophones, people like my friend here or like myself, who speak French. They're francophone, people just speak French because they happen to learn French. But we have another kind of people who are francophiles. Francophiles means people will die for the French culture, the French ideology. I don't know if you remember, go back, the Louis XIV, where the French philosophy, the French civilization was at peak. And this is the people, this is what they want to impose. They want to tell us, if you don't speak French, you're not civilized. If you don't wear clothes that the French are wearing, you're not civilized. So to be civilized, you have to speak French. You have to be French, act like a French. So we don't want English, we want French. So when I was educated in Algerian university, we did not, English was not an option at all. Until these late years, then slowly, English is still coming very, very slowly. Now, what's happening? So again, once more, the France is losing the country. Americans are becoming stronger and stronger. And the Algerians, they don't want no Americans, no Trump, no the French. We want a real independence. So, and then the circle, the oval circle in the middle, and then we have a bit of freedom, a bit of space where people can breathe. And it happened that the very sick and disabled president asked for the 5th term, and people had enough of him. People had enough of him for 20 years. He didn't do nothing. He was already imposed. We have I'm going to go to the next slide. This guy here is called General Toufik. His real name is Mohammed Madian. He was saying that I am the god of Algeria. He was real policymaker, political maker, and president of the middle one. The real governor of Algeria for the last 30 years. In Algeria, it always has been the army who is governing the country. No one else in power except the army. Army is controlled. So General X is in charge of importing sugar. General Y is in charge of importing oil. General X is in charge of whatever. So the whole economy of the country is controlled by the army. And the people can't have a say, can't have anything. Even if you are a successful businessman and try, unless you bribe, unless you... So the corruption is at peak. Situation is very bad in a very, very rich country. So there is no balance. I'm trying, I will speed up. So there are three wings for the last 10 years. We had the three wings governing the country. I'll start by General Toufik. He's the head of the Secret Service. He's been there for the last 30 years. He is the one who appointed Boutiflika, President Boutiflika. He is the one who appointed him for the last 20 years. He's been governing. Now, because of the current movement and revolution, the people were very successful to impose. We don't want Bouteflika anymore. Bouteflika has to leave. And under the heart, the strike of the people, the resistance is so high. People exactly they want to do. And what's beautiful about the recent demonstrations, there is no Islamist party or no Socialist party or no any party. It's a movement led by the youth. It's a movement led by the people from all sorts, all walks of life. And when you have half of the population coming out, say, enough, 20 years enough, leave. For the last 7 years, the Algerians did not hear their president speak. Even when he did his election, the one before about 5 years ago, it was other people who led the campaign on his behalf. He can't speak because he's very, very sick. Some people saying he's already dead. So you have the General Toufik. So he was governing in a country where nobody could see, nobody could hear. So somebody is a ghost. But who was really in power? It was his brother, Said, the one at the top, this guy here. Said Boutiflika. Boutiflika has a family. He was never married. He doesn't trust women, I'm sorry. But this is a situation. He never got married, but he has a very, very big family. So his family and friends, they were governing the country. When he came, imposed by General Toufik, this one, has the same name as me. So General Toufik imposed Bouteflika 20 years ago. When he appointed him, Bouteflika became very, very powerful. And he started changing the constitution three times. And he gave himself all the powers. He became the president, the prime minister, the leader of the army, the leader of the justice system, the leader everything. So all other institutions, they were stopped functioning. I will have to move on quickly. So we have General Toufik, the head of the secret services, as one part, one wing. Said, on behalf of the president, appointing president by phone, sacking ministers by phone, doing very big deals, billions of deals, because it's a very rich country, as I'm saying. The oil is revenue is very much there. So they made for the last 20 years something they call it oligarchy, which is a very powerful businessman that they control the economy of the country. So any infrastructure or any big projects that has to go through one of those businesses made by Said and his brother Abdelaziz Bouteflika. And we have Haddad, very wealthy. We have Rabrat, very, very wealthy, billionaire. Actually, Haddad has a British passport, by the way. He was arrested only a month ago, and he said, "Don't speak to me in Arabic. I'm a British citizen. Speak to me in English. You can't stop me unless you have the ambassador of the UK in this country. Well, you are an Algerian. No, now I'm British, and show them just the British passport. This is what happened a month ago. So, two wings fighting against each other, and the two wings, they meet the French security all the time. The American now is involved very much. Now the leader of the army, how about me? How about me? So this is how the Algerians found that window of fresh air, and that's why they could make it into the streets. They were so clever. The first Friday, where they break the barrier of fear, because anybody who dares to speak in Algeria is going to be arrested so far. The young people use the social media so cleverly. There was 100,000 of officers trying to stop people coming to the capital mainly to do the demonstration, but they were doing so much zigzags and so many other things that they could actually do the demonstrate. Now the police can't stop them. So what the people want? They want to end the dictatorship. They want to have their freedom. They want to stop the corruption. The corruption is evil. They want equality and they want justice in the country. They want the rule of the law. Gonna have to speed up. So what will happen next during the real? Because of those demonstrations, they have actually ousted the General Toufik with his leaders, but they're still complaining, they're still trying to do something behind the scene. Said Boutiflika is under house arrest, but the phone is always working, so he's trying to do something, so to put back the people into their place. You can't have real democracy. You cannot have the freedom of electing the person you want. We decide for you. You don't have the brain. You can't think on your own. We have to think for you. This is you can't even swim. We need to teach you democracy. You have to win it. This is the argument. Oh, you want to become like Syria? Look at what's happening right now in Syria. This is the argument. You want to become like Yemen? You want to want Yemen? So still under our rules, we think for you. We'll do everything for you. So this is what General Ahmed Gaid Saleh, the current leader of the army, the leader of the people, he wants to impose a new election on the 4th or 5th of July. Can't remember. I think the 4th of July is there. 4th of July. So he wants to impose a new election where the people say, no, not election. And half of the councils have refused, the judges have refused, the solicitors have refused. So it's like a national movement against the current tyrant of Algerian. He's seeking to suck more blood of the Algerian. He wants to become not even a dictator, he wants to become the emperor of the... Now the people want their freedom, the people are fighting. What's beautiful about this new revolution in Algeria, and really, really beautiful, is the spirit that exists. Every time there is a demonstrations, you never know where those volunteers come from. Paul always struggled to find volunteers to organize demonstrations. I know that. But in Algeria, the organizing, you never know who is the organizing. Who behind? Nobody knows. Nobody knows. Why? Because the regime is dictatorship. They will straight away catch them, put them into jail, or possibly kill them. So every Friday, every Tuesday, there's big student demonstrations as well. There's thousands of volunteers standing up before the police officers. There is not clashes, and they call it peacefulness. It was the most peaceful revolution until today. What happened? It's amazing again. Food, medicine, water distributed during, it's millions of people. We're talking about 100 or 35,000 like we had, or 25,000 a few Saturdays ago. No, you're talking about millions of people. Who is organizing that? The youth. The outstanding use of the social media. Actually, the Toufik or Said or General Gaid Saleh is over 80. All those people, they are all 20, 25 like my friend here. They're much more clever than those, the elite who are governing us. So actually they overpass them by years. I'm going to have to stop now. So every time there is a demonstrations, there's another team which clean everything behind. is much, much cleaner than the government themselves. It's amazing what's happening right now in Algeria. And I hope that the whole world will take an example. And I hope and pray that next election will be real election, real democracy. I hope the French will leave us alone. And Trump as well and his allies will leave us alone. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity. Thank you.